Today, if someone calls you a gold digger, it's an insult. It means you love their money, their big house, the easy life, not the person. We are taught that love comes first and money waits quietly in the back. Follow your heart. But for most of human history, following your heart could leave you hungry. So picture this. You are a young woman in Babylon, almost 4,000 years ago, around 1750 BCE. And two men want to marry you. The first is young and good-looking. You love his voice, and your eyes hunt for him at the market. But his family owns almost nothing. Their animals are skinny. His father owes silver to half the town, and the harvest failed last year. The second man is older, and you barely know him, but his family owns fields, sheep, a strong house, and big clay jars packed with grain. Today, choosing the second man might make you look greedy. In this old world, it might be a matter of life and death for your future children. That is the real choice in front of you, and it has nothing to do with luxury. It is love against hunger. So were ancient women gold diggers? The answer runs deeper than a simple yes or no. Back then, marriage was almost never about two people simply falling for each other. It tied two families together. It decided where a woman would live, whose land she worked, who protected her, and what her children would inherit. A husband came with land, a roof, the law, and safety. A wife with work, children, skills, and a web of relatives. Marriage was one of the biggest deals a family could make. Love could be part of it, sometimes, but staying alive came first. And no, do not picture ancient women sitting around while the men did everything. They planted crops, hauled water, ground grain, brewed beer, raised animals, made cloth, and minded the children and the old folks. But hard work did not always make a woman free. She might farm her father's land, or weave cloth her husband sold for profit, and still lose the household the day the marriage ended. Women made wealth all the time, but men usually held the land, the tools, the contracts, and the public offices around it. A woman needed a household because land and legal power lived inside households run by men, and women carried a risk that men did not. Pregnancy needed food. Giving birth could badly hurt a woman or even kill her. By the best estimates we have, 1 to 2 of every 100 births killed the mother. And since women gave birth again and again, the danger stacked up over a lifetime. The babies fared worse. In many ancient societies, as many as 1 in 3 did not reach their first birthday. So a full barn meant far more than looking rich. It meant food while she was pregnant, something to sell if the crops died, and a better chance of keeping her children alive. That is how money and attraction got tangled together. A rich man meant safety, and safe mattered a lot more than handsome. In Hammurabi's Mesopotamia, a marriage came with gifts, a bride price, a dowry, and a written contract. The famous laws of King Hammurabi cover divorce, support, children, and inheritance. They ask who keeps the dowry and what happens if a husband walks out. What they never ask is whether the couple was in love. Feelings could change, and debt made it worse. A poor family could hand over a son, a daughter, or a wife to work off what they owed. So a girl might not be choosing between two husbands at all. Her family might just be deciding whether to send her away to settle a debt in grain. And here is the part people love to forget. Men married for money just as hard. In classical Athens, roughly 2,400 years ago, a young woman's family handed over a dowry of silver, land, or animals, and a bigger dowry made her a better catch. So if a woman who picked a rich man was a gold digger, what do we call the man who picked the woman with the fattest dowry? Roman men played the same game. A wealthy bride brought land, a respected name, and relatives who could push her husband into public life. Kings did it on a giant scale. A prince married a princess and walked off with peace, soldiers, trade, or a throne. He was marrying her kingdom. Female greed got mocked. Male greed got called strategy. The ancient world never ran on one rule book, though. In Egypt, going back more than 3,000 years, women held more legal power than women in many nearby lands. They could own property, sign contracts, go to court, lend money, and sometimes end a marriage themselves. A woman could keep the property she brought into a marriage, which gave her footing if it fell apart. Egypt proves women were never naturally helpless. The law was what changed everything. Give women land and the courts, and they had room to choose. So what if a woman did not marry at all, or was not wanted? She might stay with her parents, live with a brother, work as a servant, or join temple service. A few did get rich, though rarely by luck. Widows inherited land and silver. Others ran their own trades, weaving, brewing, or lending money. Some became priestesses who could own property in their own name, like the Naditu of Babylon, who leased houses and built fortunes. A few grew wealthy as high-priced courtesans, but a poor woman with no land, family, or grown sons was in real danger, sent into service or sold off when her family fell into debt. And it could get far darker. Not every woman walked into marriage by choice. Some were taken by force. Bride capture, simply stealing a woman to make her a wife, runs through the old stories, from the Roman seizure of the Sabine women to raids between tribes. War was worse. When a city fell, its women and girls were carried off and handed out as wives, concubines, or worse, a fate written into old war tales and law codes. Some families did the choosing. Where the groom side paid a bride price, a poor family could marry off a daughter and pocket the silver, closer to a sale than a wedding. And the unwanted could be thrown away before they grew up. In Greece and Rome, a newborn a family would not raise was left outside to die. Girls more often than boys, since a daughter cost a dowry and could not carry the family name. Some castaways were picked up by strangers and raised into slavery or brothels. Some women skipped ordinary marriage and walked straight into a royal home. Across 2,000 years of imperial China, a daughter who married up could lift her family's standing, and some girls entered palace service as servants, wives, or concubines. A palace could feed a girl, dress her in fine cloth, keep her safe, and still become a beautiful prison. The Ottoman imperial harem shows it best. Many of the women inside were enslaved, bought, or captured. A few climbed high and shaped real politics, but most began with their freedom taken away. Far across the ocean, the Inca chose young women for state service too, weaving sacred cloth or given out as wives to reward loyal men. A princess might be married to stop a war or save her country. Either way, her opinion rarely counted. Now, do not get the wrong idea. Ancient people still fell head over heels. Egyptian and Greek poems ache with longing and jealousy. Some couples ran off or married against their family's wishes. But love came easier with food already on the table. A rich woman could gamble on a poor man. The poor could not. Because if the marriage failed, no government waited to catch them. They did not love any less than we do. Love simply cost more. Modern life did not pull money out of relationships. It just gave people more ways to survive without a marriage. Women slowly won access to school, paid jobs, property, bank accounts, and divorce, and hospitals made childbirth safer. The changes came slow and uneven, but they flipped the main question. An ancient woman had to ask which husband would keep her safest. A modern woman can ask whether she wants a husband at all. And yet, we still size people up by their jobs, their debts, and their schooling. We just gave it nicer names, like stability or planning for the future. The old marriage market never closed. We only got better at hiding the price tags. So go back one last time to that young woman in Babylon. The older man offers more than silver. He offers grain when the river runs low, a roof in winter, land for her children, and kin to protect her if he dies. The younger man offers sweeter love, but love cannot fill an empty bowl. Ancient women were never helpless. They fed homes, made clothing, raised children, and built wealth. But their world handed land, law, money, and power to men, then made marriage the safest road to all of it. For most of human history, marrying rich was not a shameful secret. It was one of the few survival plans that actually worked.